There is something strangely satisfying about picking up a machine that has already lived a life and finding out it still has plenty of fight left in it. This 2017 MacBook Pro is a perfect example of that. When you pull it out of the box, you are immediately reminded of why this design became such a staple. It is thin, it is dense, and that space gray finish still looks sharp even after a few years of circulation. Now, because this is a renewed unit, you have to manage your expectations a bit. You might spot a tiny dent on a corner or a faint scratch on the display, but honestly, once the screen lights up, those little cosmetic quirks tend to fade into the background. That Retina display is still a beauty. With 500 nits of brightness, it cuts through glare surprisingly well, and colors remain punchy enough for photo editing or just catching up on some shows. Under the hood, you are looking at an i5 processor paired with 8 GB of memory. For everyday tasks like juggling a dozen browser tabs, streaming, or handling documents, it feels snappy. It does not stutter when you switch between apps, which is really all most people need. However, do not expect to be rendering 4K video or running heavy creative suites without the fans kicking in to let you know they are working hard. That is just the reality of this hardware. The keyboard is the classic butterfly mechanism, which is a bit of a love it or hate it situation. It has a very shallow, clicky travel that feels almost like tapping on a tabletop, but once you get into a rhythm, it is actually quite fast. The trackpad is still the gold standard, though. It is massive, responsive, and that haptic feedback makes it feel like you are clicking a physical button even when you are not. One thing to keep in mind is the storage. 256 GB fills up faster than you think, especially if you are the type to hoard photos or large files. You will likely find yourself leaning on cloud storage or an external drive sooner rather than later. The port situation is also something to consider. You are living the dongle life here with those USB-C ports, so if you still rely on older accessories, you will need to keep an adapter handy. It is not the most convenient setup, but it is the price of admission for this form factor. At the end of the day, this machine is a solid choice for someone who wants that premium build and a great screen without paying the premium price of a brand new model. It is not perfect, and it definitely shows its age in a few specific areas, but for the right person, it is a reliable workhorse that still feels like a piece of quality engineering. If you can live with a few minor scuffs and the occasional need for a dongle, it is a pretty smart way to get into the ecosystem without breaking the bank.
Check out the video description for updated price. And thank you for watching this video.